and he's standing there with his shirt off, with his shorts on. There's not a man alive who doesn't want to be built like that. They all want to be built like that. Now, the mass and the striations and the vascularity.
This version of him did, but like this version definitely didn't.
Having trained with Manny Pacquiao had to be a huge asset for you.
But he's always bouncing, he's always moving around.
Yes.
Like he'll bounce for like 20-something rounds. He'll do his pads and he's jumping up and down, and he really is an unbelievable person, unbelievable athlete, and a legend of the sport. I think as time progresses, people are really gonna appreciate his greatness.
In a recent discussion, Joe Rogan admitted he was struck by Manny Pacquiao's conditioning, pointing to his iconic calves and shredded physique as he prepares for a second clash with Floyd Mayweather.
And to be able to have an opportunity like that to spar 250 rounds with one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he won world titles in what, 8 divisions?
8 divisions, 13 or
Crazy.
14 world titles.
Crazy.
It will never be done again.
Crazy.
And as much as you want to see records broken, and I want to break records, that man is a one of one.
He's a one of one.
Yeah.
I mean, when he knocked down Thurman in that fight, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This guy's 40 years old and still can crack and still as fast as lightning.
Yeah, the power that he possesses, but it's not a thumping power. It's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the footwork he gets in position. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez. A lot of that sparring paid off, and it did shape me. And I know he did put out a tweet as well saying that I hope the sparring we did helped you in this fight, and straight away.
That's amazing.
And I was so excited. He's a legend of the sport.
He is a legend, and he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah.
When you look
Massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
Rogan said that kind of conditioning could become a decisive factor if the rivals meet again, especially in a fight where pace, stamina, and late-round composure can tilt everything.
Won world titles in 8 different weight classes. Who the f does that?
And the way he did it, like
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Cotto. I love this school, and the way that he beat Cotto, I didn't think nobody could ever do that to him. And it was just like, bro, what the f?
Well, his legs, Manny's legs are like tree trunks.
Yeah, and the
It's
hand
crazy.
speed, the power,
speed, everything.
I just always wish that the Mayweather Pacquiao fight would have took place.
Manny Pacquiao's physique isn't just genetics. It reflects years of relentless training, discipline, and the kind of routine built over a lifetime in the sport.
He does his pad work, he does his sparring, but then he's on the bag, he's on the shadow boxing, he's there doing the pad work. So that extra rounds just builds that conditioning and that stamina. And that's what I just found, that push more rounds. If the body can keep going, push more and more. That's what I learned from him.
Pacquiao is known for a brutal routine, including early morning hill runs that have helped build his iconic calves and the conditioning that shapes his overall physique.
And I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big, because he's always constantly running the mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
My calves started getting bigger and bigger.
Beyond the hill work, Pacquiao runs his body through a full spectrum of training, from long-distance road work to explosive sprint intervals, each session built to sharpen stamina and preserve speed.
susukin mo lang. Ang iyong mga kawan, natumba na. No excuses. So,
saya nga, alas 5, gigit pa, gabi.
kaya naman strong kasi dito. Strong yun.
Though he's naturally smaller, Pacquiao trains with such intensity that his conditioning and physique can still project intimidation because they signal how hard he's willing to work.
But pound for pound, he can't be above Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was a flyweight champion. Not that he turned pro at flyweight. He was good enough as a flyweight to be the lineal champion, the real champion. Now, he didn't win titles in every division. He skipped some of these, but I just want to tell you how flyweight, junior bantam, junior feather, junior light, junior welter, welter, junior middle.
He rolling.
And he laid waste to these divisions. He fought great fighters. He never ducked anybody. Pacquiao, to me, other than Sugar Ray Robinson, he's still one. Pacquiao is the greatest pound for pound fighter who ever lived. I can't put Floyd above him.
Yeah.
Any beef?
I agree with you on that. I mean, I've always had Manny Pacquiao above Floyd pound for pound.
Right.
And just in the history of boxing, you never heard of a guy that could go from those weight classes and still dominate. Knocking out Cotto, knocking out Ricky Hatton with one shot, destroying Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, like, made him look like he was nothing.
Joe Rogan praised Pacquiao's greatness, saying it's almost unbelievable that Manny beat Keith Tartman while in his 40s, against a fighter still in his prime.
When he knocked down Thurman in that fight, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This guy's 40 years old and still can crack and still as fast as lightning.
Yeah, the power that he possesses, but it's not a thumping power. It's that explosive speed, that explosive power, the footwork he gets in position. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez. You know, a lot of that, sparring paid off and it did shape me. And I know he did put out a tweet as well, saying that I hope the sparring we did, helped you in this fight, and straight away.
That's amazing.
And I was so excited. Yeah, he's a legend of the sport.
He is a legend, and he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah,
When you look
massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
And I know the reason why.
Rogan points to Pacquiao's speed, timing, and experience as the keys that allowed him to overcome youth and remain exceptional long after most fighters fade.
I mean, he won world titles in what, 8 divisions?
8 divisions, 13 or
Crazy.
14 world titles.
Crazy.
It will never be done again.
Crazy.
And as much as you want to see records broken, and I want to break records, that man is a one of one.
Teddy Atlas says Manny Pacquiao holds a rare place in boxing history, and in his view, age isn't the defining measure of greatness, especially not for a fighter like Manny.
But Manny is one of a kind. And I would not bet, I wouldn't be shocked to see him do something that is very, very, could be, very unlikely that at 46 years of age that he could do this.
Atlas adds that Pacquiao is surrounded by experienced professionals, trainers, medical staff, and former champions, people he believes would never let Manny risk his health if they truly felt he couldn't handle what he's taking on.
That they've seen him in camp and that they've seen something special. They've seen a 46-year-old that maybe they thought when camp started, hey, this is wrong. But it's Manny Pacquiao, we're going to go along with and see how it looks. And then all of a sudden they say, oh my God, it's possible. Oh my God, Manny, you're starting to make me think maybe it's possible. I'm going to hope that he's got people around him of that ilk, of human beings, not just professionals, but human beings that have seen something to continue to go forward with this fight. Or if they didn't, would have said, you know what, no. I can't be part of this. So just on that alone, I'm gonna have hope for them. I'm gonna give them credit that they're thinking that way.
Roy Jones Jr. says he respects fighters who are true students of the game, and in Manny Pacquiao, he sees a master of ring IQ. Roy points to Pacquiao's ability to control angles, manage distance, and use the entire ring as second to none. He adds that Manny never really stopped training, staying in fighting shape even between bouts. And if Pacquiao can bring what he's showing in camp into the ring and sustain that pace for all 12 rounds, Roy believes he has a real shot to win.
Man is never stationary. Man is always on the move. You understand me? What has happened in boxing is a lot of people have lost the art of footwork. You understand me? Not many people have footwork. So if you see a guy go out and box like you'll never see in today's time too often, a guy go out and box like Sugar Ray Leonard boxed Marvin Hagler. Right. He moved around, he fought when it was time, he moved when it was time. He understood how to use the whole ring to get a victory. Now guys don't do that. Pac-Man, fortunately, is one of those guys who knows how to use the ring. Nowadays, with how things go, and with Manny being who Manny is, if Manny can get to 12 rounds, Manny gonna win the fight.
For Roy, it isn't about raw talent at this stage. It's about ring intelligence, stamina, and execution, areas where he believes Pacquiao can still thrive.
But Manny has one of the bigger outputs for any fighter of any era. Right. He's a guy that don't mind throwing 3 and 4 and 5 punches at a time. He's not one of those guys that won't throw 4 or 5 punches if he see it. That being said, the only concern I have is how will his legs hold up.
David Benavidez calls Pacquiao the picture of a complete fighter. He says what separates Manny isn't just speed or power, it's how well-rounded he is. From footwork and combinations to defense and ring awareness, Benavidez believes Pacquiao has answers in every phase. But what stands out most to him is Manny's passion. He says every movement, every punch, every session carries intent. Benavidez points to a camp built on high-level preparation, sparring, and discipline, and believes that mix of passion, versatility, and strength is what still makes Pacquiao dangerous.
So what makes Manny Pacquiao special is that he does everything so good. He has great footwork, he has good ring IQ, good defensive slips, good combinations, and I think most importantly of all, he's in there willing to go to war with anybody. So that's really what makes him more important. The most special thing about him is his spirit and his will to fight. I think Manny Pacquiao at age 46 is going to look amazing in my opinion. He has all the experience in the world. He's seen every single fighter, and if he's coming back at 46, it's because he definitely wants to come back and win another world title. I think that one of the oldest world champions has been Bernard Hopkins when he fought at age 49. So, you know, Pacquiao is barely 46 right now. He's a young 46. So I think, you know, he still has a lot left in the tank.
Jim Lampley frames it as a smart, if uncomfortable, calculation by Floyd Mayweather. In Lampley's view, Mayweather didn't rush to call for Manny Pacquiao earlier, and the long delay before they finally met served a purpose. By waiting years, Lampley argues, Mayweather allowed time to work in his favor. Pacquiao aging, the miles accumulating, while Floyd stayed more protected and selective with his timing. Lampley suggests that gap mattered in the places fans don't always see on a highlight reel: physical prime, reaction speed, and overall readiness on the night. In boxing, he notes, timing can be everything. Age doesn't announce itself loudly, but it shows up in small moments: a half step late, a fraction slower on the trigger, the split-second decisions that decide rounds. Lampley's point is that waiting for even a slight decline while preserving your own peak can be a tactic as real as any jab. It's rarely said out loud, and that's part of why it still feels controversial to many fans. Clever on one side, unsettling on the other, because it turns legacy into a question of timing as much as talent.
And Mayweather just did such a smart thing, but also a devious thing. Waiting until Pacquiao was older, waiting until he slowed down, and then...
Devious is not illegal in boxing.
It's encouraged.
Yeah. In any entrepreneurial sport, devious is not illegal.
No.
Devious can be an asset.
That's how you retire with a 50-0
I give
record.
Floyd credit for brilliance, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Floyd wasn't just a smart fighter. Floyd was a brilliant fighter. He was on his own level. And so much so, you know, in any matchup between the great counterpuncher and the great attacker, you know that the counterpuncher has the advantage. He's got more options. He's got more ways of winning. The attacker has to break through the wall, so to speak.
That's it for today. Stay tuned. See you next time.